Dinghai Fusheng Records. Chapter 132. Setting up the array. Where are we going? Chen Xing saw that Xiangshu was leaving Jiankang with him. During the autumn deity festival, a lot of people in Jiankang were admiring the view. However, as they moved further away from Jiankang, the crowds grew smaller as well. By the time they were 5 to 6 miles away, there was no longer anyone in sight. Up the mountain, Xiangshu said in his deep voice. Then, he made a turn and led Chen Xing down a forest path. There was no one else around. Xiangshu, who had his arms wrapped around Chen Xing's waist, loosened his grip on the reins. He hugged Chen Xing tight and pulled him close, then leaned down to kiss him. Finally, there was no one else. Chen Xing kissed him back with fervor, without any hesitation. "Are you sure you want to play with fire?" Xiangshu threatened with a whisper. "Don't regret this later." Xiangshu handed him the reins. Through haggard breaths, he said, "Steer the horse by yourself, you can do it however you like." Chen Xing dared not move at all, he could only tremble. Xiangshu asked, Embarrassed. "Chia," Chen Xing uttered weakly with a trembling voice. He gently urged the horse. The horse began to trot with small steps, but the slow movements made Chen Xing bite his lips. "I can't go fast," Chen Xing said. "Chia." Xiangshu suddenly urged as both his legs clamped down on the horse's belly at the same time, and the horse rushed forth. "Chen Xing." Xiangshu took the reins. He wrapped one arm around Chen Xing, and with the other, he began steering the horse. The trot turned into a gallop, and within the blink of an eye, the horse was out of the woods. "Keep it down," Xiangshu whispered into Chen Xing's ears. The horse began to gallop with a rhythm. "There's still an hour to go," Xiangshu whispered, "I'll take you back to Li Chuan next year." Xiangshu's breaths were staggered. "I'll take you to the prairie and let the horse run around all day, from when the sun rises to when it sets. There won't be a soul there, and we'll be one with the world." After a full 2 hours, Chen Xing thought he was going to die, but they were finally about to arrive at their destination. It was a stream under a roaring waterfall. Xiangshu carried Chen Xing down the horse. He took off his robe before laying it on the ground. "There won't be anyone here, right?" "There won't," Xiangshu answered. Mana was aplenty here due to the earth vein circulating underground, filling the place with an abundance of spiritual qi. Chen Xing was all relaxed and happy when Xiangshu said, "Come, this is the spiritual spot." It was the autumn deity festival, the sun shone resplendently, and it was not until dusk when Xiangshu rode down the mountain with Chen Xing on their horse. Even though they just had their mana resonance session, Xiangshu still desired more. 1 full day had passed, and the red bracelet was now on his hand. Now, both their wrists were tied with a red bracelet, looking just like a pair of smitten lovers. Chen Xing knew that if he didn't plead for Xiangshu to stop, Xiangshu may really let the horse run wild under this twilight. Until the day was over. Once they were approaching the courier house, Xiangshu finally distanced himself from Chen Xing a little, and only then did Chen Xing let out a sigh of relief, utterly exhausted. When he got off the horse, his footing was still a little unstable. Xiangshu held him with one hand, and held the reins of the horse with the other as they walked over to the courier house to spend the night. "Let's take the boat tomorrow to Chibi," Xiangshu said. It was bright in the post house. Chen Xing was so tired that he didn't have much of an appetite, yet Xiangshu was still full of energy. He poured some wine for the both of them, and even picked out the bones of a fish before serving it to Chen Xing. Chen Xing replied, "Again." "To meet Wang Zizi and Xian," Xiangshu explained. "Nothing else. We can go stroll around, I'll take you out to play." Chen Xing nodded. When he thought of how after tonight, the two of them had to practice abstinence for half a month, his heart fell into turmoil. "Eat more," Xiangshu urged. Today's not over yet, there'll be more later. Chen Xing's face flushed red in an instant. They were sitting on a small couch, and some people would glance over at them every once in a while, yet Xiangshu didn't look bothered at all. His wrist, tied with the red bracelet made of moonshells, looked both strong and beautiful. Afterward, he took Chen Xing to their room. The next day, they got on a boat upstream of Huai River, then revisited their hometown at Nanping Mountain before riding a horse up the mountain. Once the autumn deity festival was over, Jiangnan turned chilly. Chen Xing was on the horse now and he could never forget that day. It was tiring, of course, yet also very exhilarating, especially due to the varying speeds, jerking about, and force. It had added on to the tremendous strength Xiangshu had to begin with. Xiangshu asked, thinking about it again. Chen Xing didn't know if he should laugh or cry. No, don't think about it, there's still 13 days to go. I can't live this life anymore. You're counting down too? Xiangshu said. I thought I was the only one waiting for it. Chen Xing turned his head sideways and replied to him with a kiss. Xiangshu stopped the horse, lowered his head, and the both of them focused wholly on kissing. Suddenly, someone whistled from somewhere high up. From the side of the hill, a woman riding a horse smiled at them. You're late. Chen Xing got a fright. It was Xie Dayun dressed in men's clothes. Fortunately, they weren't fooling around there, though it's not like they could even if they wanted to. Xiangshu said, we did some sightseeing, so we were a little delayed. Only then did Chen Xing know Xiangshu had invited quite a few people, or that Xian and the rest were the ones who invited him. Xiangshu tied up the horse on the hillside and both of them walked up at a leisurely pace. Xiao Shan was waiting at the front. I thought you guys wouldn't come today. Chen Xing asked, who else is here? They're all here, Xiao Shan said. Gag, where did you two go? Xiangshu walked over and slung one hand around Xiao Shan's shoulder, then the adult and child turned around a mountain path and started walking in front. Xie Dayun has never really had many encounters with Chen Xing before and only saw him once in a while at the exorcist department. Yet, for some reasons, they didn't feel like strangers at all. Tuobayan, Fengqianjun, and Qing'er have all gone up, Xie Dayun said. Strange, why do you seem so much like someone I've already known for a long time? Chen Xing smiled. We have a certain affinity. Would you like my godson to be your little Shifu? Xie Dayun was taken aback, questioning how Chen Xing knew about that. But it seems like this entire group of people, no matter if it was Xiao Shan, Fengqianjun, Tuobayan, or Xiangshu, even Xian and that pile of half-dead Basts, all listened to Chen Xing. It was obvious he held the most seniority in the exorcist department though, so going by that line of thought, it didn't seem so strange anymore. He hasn't agreed, Xie Dayun admitted. Xie Dayun has never been keen on concepts like cultivation and alchemy, but as she saw how the exorcists practiced their magic, as well as through Chen Xing's repeated admonitions, her view of them slowly changed. She was accompanying Gu Qing to come visit Fengqianjun once when she saw Xiao Shan and Tuobayan spar by chance and was instantly awed by Xiao Shan's skills, so she often came over to learn from him. After Chen Xing took charge of the exorcist department, he implemented the ancient laws. He banned activities like refining immortality pills and drinking talisman water. Also, he dispatched exorcists to various counties in Jiangnan, who went around to study in the local cultures, but they were really there to explicitly ban anyone from trying to swindle the masses under the guise of exorcism. He also got the newcomers to watch over every county and educate the common people to get rid of their bad habits of drinking talisman water to treat their illnesses, as well as put an end to the practice of eating mercury pills like rice. This led Xie Dayun to believe that the exorcists really weren't con artists. Although she wasn't all that interested in becoming an exorcist and just wanted to learn some martial arts, she had come to know quite a bit through what she saw and heard alone. They set up a formation on the mountain, Xie Dayun said. It should be finished soon. Shixing's there too? Chen Xing asked. Chen Xing was a rather approachable person, he didn't seem to have the self-awareness of being a great exorcist. With a smile plastered on his face all day and a heart filled with curiosity, he would take the initiative to ask all sorts of questions whenever he saw that his subordinates were working on something he didn't or wasn't too knowledgeable about. What was rarer was that every person, be it man or woman, cats, dogs, the grasshoppers in the garden, or Yaogwai were all treated equally by him. At first, within Jiankang City, there were a lot of scholars who were jealous of this kid. Why was it that after this young boy, who hadn't even reached the age of 20, came to Jiankang, a group of people would revolve around him like they were the stars to his moon, among whom were some martial god protector, Hus, Hans, and an even younger kid, who would be by his side at all times. Xie Dayun was a tough one herself and felt very uncomfortable when she heard their gossip. She didn't care if they wanted to enter the palace or pay them a visit, but complaining about anything that displeased them while they were seeking treatment? If they have any opinion about the exorcists, then they should say it to their faces, why talk behind their backs like this here? And so she had chided them immediately, how's that any of your business? After she got to know Chen Xing better, Xie Dayun had to acknowledge why everyone liked him so much. Very few people had the chance to see the so-called heart lamp in person, but there was a sort of warm light that emanated from Chen Xing that gave people hope. His words were sincere as well and he carried a great respect for all life, he was as splendid as a peach blossom that made all those around him feel at ease. Xie Dayun glanced at Chen Xing. Uncle came back a long time ago, he's waiting for you at the top of the mountain. Chen Xing felt a lot more rest assured knowing that Xian was here. He has always been quite reliable, just like Xiang Shu. Xie Dayun suddenly thought it seemed funny, but Chen Xing was puzzled. Why are you laughing? You're quite similar to my uncle, Xie Dayun answered. Chen Xing, in all earnestness, replied, you're really thinking too much of me. I would have never even been able to dream of becoming someone like Shixing. Xie Dayun said, little uncle envies you a whole lot though. Chen Xing didn't know if he should cry or laugh. What's to envy about being an exorcist? He should envy someone like himself. To be able to protect the common people of Great Jin is no easy feat. Everyone agreed that Chen Xing and Xian were similar in some areas. The only difference lay in how Chen Xing still upheld the pure sincerity of a young man, whereas Xian was someone who had experienced the vicissitudes of life and had cultivated a keen sense of insight to the world's matters. As such, it would explain why the scholars of Jiangdong were wary of Chen Xing. In this lifetime, Xian had collected taxes, recruited soldiers, redrew territorial boundaries and even amassed power within the Great Jin's royal family. One was enough to be a headache, yet no one could do anything about him. After all, this bastard was part of the Xie family, one of the top two most prominent families beside the Wang family. Now, everyone in Jiangnan can only hope to hold on until Xian reaches the end of his life. Then they would have won. Yet within the blink of an eye, a mini Xian had come, and he was even Xian's Shidi. Plus, he was an exorcist who's close to Sima Yao too. Although he was incapable of curing Sima Yao's baldness, what could this lad's potential be in the future? Also, that so-called protector of his was once the great Chan Yu, who was stronger than even Fujian of the north. The entire Jiangnan panicked at once. Wherever there's people, there will be fights, even pigs and dogs would get into brawls, never mind exorcists. Of course, Chen Xing was fully unaware of this, and Xian never cared about such trivial matters to begin with. Chen Xing thought Xie Dayun was really personable and straightforward, and it was so the last time they met. He felt close to her very quickly, so he asked, do you want to be an exorcist? No, Xie Dayun answered. I'm engaged. My future husband really wants to become one though, Don't accept him at all costs. Chen Xing knew that Xie Dayun had an engagement with Wang Ningzi, Wang Zizi's second oldest son. Arranged marriages at such a level for scholars meant the shouldering of many responsibilities, so one couldn't leave as they wish. He can't come, but you can. Chen Xing knew that Xie Dayun loves wielding weapons and treating people, so she was more suited to be an exorcist than Wang Ningzi. Xie Dayun sighed imperceptibly, as if there was a lot of helplessness hidden within. Yet she raised a brow and said, "There are a lot of problems we need to face in this world that we can't escape from." Chen Xing smiled. For example? What problems are there? For example, the problem with His Majesty's hair, Xie Dayun replied with a straight face. Chen Xing burst out laughing. He knew that Xie Dayun only wanted to be a physician, that was good too. When they got to the top of the mountain, Gu Qing, Feng Qianjun, Xian, Tuobayan and the rest were already there. It was just like the last time they all came to Chibi. Just that, only after 3 years, there were quite a few additions to the team, even when Che and Xin Yuanping were here. Xin Yuanping wiped away the array left behind by Kongming and set up a new one. Wen Che studied it from the side, frowning. "You're always so careless when you're drawing your arrays, can't you be a little more serious about it?" Chen Xing has never seen that array before, but he could understand the basic Dao laws of it. In his eyes, the array that Xin Yuanping was setting up was even more magnificent than Wang Zizi, truly a masterpiece that was crafted by the heavens. Yet Wen Che critiqued it for being ugly. "I haven't drawn one in too long." Xin Yuanping wiped his sweat and smiled. "Where is it lacking? I'll change it." "Wen Che, it's completely misaligned here. It's such an obvious rune, can't you see it?" Everyone. At the side, Gu Qing thought to herself that this lady boss was really fierce, then she looked at Feng Qianjun, who motioned to her not to interrupt. Xin Yuanping then rubbed his hands, released his mana, and leveled the ground to its original state before redrawing. Xiang Shu and Xian stared at the array in a daze, then looked at each other, as if they were having a silent exchange. "Does this look good?" Xin Yuanping asked again. "Forget it, this'll do." Wen Che frowned, then waved Chen Xing over. Chen Xing walked to the middle of the array and studied it, asking, "When are we starting?" "We'll still need to wait for a while," Xin Yuanping said. "Until the winter solstice, 3 months from now. By then, all of the protectors have to be here and draw the necessary spiritual power for you." "How did this array come about?" Chen Xing asked. Wen Che said, "It's combined with the soul arrest array. We thought of it by ourselves." "Xiao Che came up with it," Xin Yuanping added with a smile. "He's very smart." Xian said, "This is where the spiritual qi of the heavens and earth converge. In the past, this was where Zhonglu used the Dinghai pearl to collect all of the mana in the world. Before the revival of all magic, spiritual qi was in abundance and more than sufficient to maintain the operations of this array. Chen Xing remembered the last time he came here, there was no spiritual qi in Nanping Mountain then. Now, he could see that the natural geography of this place was truly superior. The mountains circled around this high platform, as if it was circling a throne, while the power from the earth and heaven veins flowed non-stop up the high platform and converged there, forming a vortex. Wen Che felt a little embarrassed, which was rare for him. Xiang Shu said, "So, we'll capture Wang Zi's soul, interrogate him, then separate Chen Xing's soul afterwards." "Yes," Xin Yuanping answered. "Because the Luohun bell can't affect his soul. Chen Xing's yin and yang souls are protected by the heart lamp, so only this array can temporarily separate his soul from his body." Wen Che felt a little anxious. "The great exorcist's soul is actually quite overpowering. I'm not sure if this array can maintain its stability during the separation. All we can do is try our best." "How could that be?" Chen Xing didn't know if he should laugh or cry. "My soul should be quite weak." Wen Che said, During the silence of all magic, you used your soul as support and forcibly lit the heart lamp. While enduring all those trials and tribulations, your soul would slowly regenerate every time, and it got stronger and stronger with each iteration, just like a martial arts expert who would exhaust all their strength before recovering again. With all that repetition, your soul has become extremely sturdy now. If it becomes unstable, Xiangshu was only worried about Chen Xing's safety, so he asked, "What will happen?" In a deep voice, Wen Che replied, "He'll die." Scared. Xian, I think the chance of that happening is really low. Chen Xing quickly glanced at Wen Che, trying to signal him to stay quiet about it, yet Wen Che didn't mind him at all. No matter how small the chances, it might still happen. Once the array is destroyed, his soul will be sucked away by the heaven vein. Xiangshu asked, "What's the chance of occurrence?" "It won't," Chen Xing said. "Everyone's here, I'm sure it'll be okay." He thought to himself that it's over, Wen Che shouldn't have said that. Xiangshu wouldn't let him take the risk even if the chance of occurrence was only 10%. Wen Che replied, "Really low, less than 10%. Xiangshu, when it's time, I'll go in with him." Chen Xing. Wen Che was a little taken aback by that and glanced at Xin Yuanping. Xian said, "Then the possibility of the array blowing up will become 90%. Everyone." Feng Qianjun coughed. He tried to help, "Great Chanyu, you have to trust us, we've already made it all the way here, as long as everyone tries their best." Xiao Shan said, "But that doesn't sound right. If we die after trying our best then so be it, but now even if we do try our best, the one who dies isn't us, it's Chen Xing, right? How is that trying our best?" Feng Qianjun lamented, "Don't dig such a pit for me. I'll get beat up by this great Chanyu again later." Xiao Shan. Once Chen Xing saw Xiangshu's face, he quickly said, "Stop talking, you're agitating Xiangshu." Tuoba Yan said, "Is there no other way?" Xiangshu looked at Wen Che, but Wen Che didn't reply. After pondering for a moment, he asked, "An extra person wouldn't necessarily make the array lose control. After establishing resonance, it could actually be of some help, but, if both of you were to die, then there'll be no one left who can get rid of Shug. It's no use of us to hold onto the heart lamp." Xiangshu answered, "That's the will of the heavens then, let the divine land perish." Xin Yuanping laughed aloud. Wen Che said, "Great. That's not great at all." Chen Xing said, "After you get the heart lamp, can't you just recast Budong Rushan before accompanying me?" Xiangshu looked at Wen Che. Wen Chen thought about it. "That's fine. At that time, you can come in with him. Nothing will happen since both of you have established monoresonance." Everyone fell silent for a moment. Since everything had been decided, the crowd dispersed. A few days later, on the night of the Xiaoyuan festival, Xian and the rest sat on a boat that drifted down Huai River. The entire city was still dark. Chen Xing was holding Jingguang Liulai as he faced the two moons of the river and sky. Xiangshu sat at the bow of the boat as he played his qiang flute. With a bright moon in the sky, the path ahead was lit for thousands of miles. According to Pu Yang's calculations, tonight was when the moon would shine the brightest. The reflection on Huai River accentuated that silvery hue, making the night seem just like day. Chen Xing absorbed the moonlight with his Jingguang Liulai. The world turned dark for just a moment. The power of the moon still remained, and Shu didn't appear this time. "It's so beautiful," Chen Xing gasped in awe. Jingguang Liulai now contained the power of the sun, moon, and stars. Light burst out from it in all directions, and it was a lot prettier than before. That light felt alive as it danced about slowly. 3 types of light. Xian and Chen Xing huddled together to study it. Chen Xing said, "Next, it'll be absorbing the heart lamp." The next step was the most crucial one, pertaining to the solar rest array of the winter solstice. If nothing went wrong, Xian would absorb the power of the heart lamp with Jingguang Liyulai, then Chen Xing would lose the magical artifact that had accompanied him for the past 2 decades since birth. But this raised another problem. After establishing monoresonance with Xiangshu, once he lost the heart lamp, could Xiangshu transform into the protector martial god cloaked in divine light? In the meantime, they had seriously discussed this problem, and the conclusion they came to was that Xiangshu could lose that power along with the shift of the heart lamp. But at the same time, he would regain the ability passed down from his mother to inherit Budong Rushan and become a protector martial god similar to Wenqie, then he could wield the sword against Xu. After the heart lamp left Chen Xing, he could still use ordinary spells. Right now, he couldn't control the elements and other elusive spells like Xian, but that was because the heart lamp couldn't coexist with other types of mana. This would actually be a blessing in disguise. After he separated from the heart lamp, he would be at a more advanced starting point than ordinary exorcists as well. The monoresonance he had already established with Xiangshu wouldn't change. At most, he'd just be seen as an exorcist who had lost a part of his power, but they could still complement each other. "What are you doing?" Gu Qing turned around and looked at Chen Xing's notes. Chen Xing lit the heart lamp, studied it for a moment, then started writing down notes on a pile of silk. On the day of the winter solstice, Chen Xing said, "The heart lamp will be separated out. While I still have it, I want to write some tips on it for the future generation, so that when someone inherits it in the future, they'd at least know what's going on." Gu Qing was studying diligently as well. She opened up a book called Medicine of Immortality and started reading it in earnest. "Have you decided to join the exorcist department with Fendage?" Chen Xing thought that Gu Qing really didn't have it easy. Gu Qing said, "I was the one who asked. I want him to be my protector, so I'm studying, but I don't think I have the talent for it." Snow was falling outside the library. Chen Xing and Gu Qing locked eyes for a moment, then Chen Xing smiled. "You don't need to be too insistent on it." Protector? Chen Xing thought. Someone would actually do their best to become an exorcist to accompany Feng Qianjun out of love. But now that he thought about it, weren't he and Xiangshu in the same situation? In the beginning, Xiangshu didn't know what was going on either, but he accepted this role afterwards just to accompany Chen Xing by his side to protect him. It was near the winter solstice. Chen Xing had been practicing abstinence for half a month, and the urge was consuming him. At the start of winter, he saw Xiangshu dressed in a hu robe as he inspected the exorcist department. Under the swirling snow, when he saw Xiangshu instructing dozens of young protectors and giving them pointers on their martial arts, all Chen Xing wanted to do was to hug him and pester him to return to their room with a burning brazier that was as warm as spring, and then they could start kissing each other in a frenzy. Or Xiangshu's robe could fall to his waist, revealing his broad back as he hugged Chen Xing, his upper half bare, while Chen Xing would be lying down. "Wait, no, what am I thinking about?" Chen Xing tried to regain his calm. After Gu Qing went to arrange the ancient books, Xiangshu returned. At the start, they would be by each other's side all day, yet they couldn't do anything that made it easy to lose control. Afterwards, Xiangshu asked to go teach martial arts together with Tuobayan, so as to reduce the time they could spend together. Only then could Chen Xing relax without having his whole mind filled with Xiangshu. He put the tea bowl in front of Xiangshu. Xiangshu sat down and took a sip of tea while Chen Xing brushed the snow off his shoulder. "How are the students doing?" Chen Xing asked. "Don't scold them all the time, quite a few of them are older than you." "I'm not Tuobayan," Xiangshu said. "I don't have such a good temper." Xiangshu didn't really like teaching martial arts. After all, it wasn't as if everyone was as quick to understand it like Xiaoshan. But once he thought of how he and Chen Xing could leave one day, and the exorcist department would become an important pillar of stabilizing the world. He could only try to teach a little. Tuoba Yan had always had a good temper, but that wasn't necessarily the case for Xiangshu. The strange thing was that even though Xiangshu was very strict, everyone liked him very much and would often call him Shifu or Shizun out of nowhere. Sometimes, they would even call Chen Xing Shi Niang. Chen Xing thought that form of address was really interesting, so sometimes he would try to speak up for them in front of Xiangshu. Xiangshu drank some tea, seeming a little dazed. His gaze swept about Chen Xing's body, and Chen Xing felt like Xiangshu was restraining his impulse of coming over to hug him, kiss him, and mess his clothes up. 10 days, Xiangshu said. It'll be time soon. It had been 10 days since the last time they practiced dual cultivation, and there were 5 more days until the first day of the month again. Chen Xing loved hugging Xiangshu in the winter. The feeling of their skin rubbing together and Xiangshu's warm body made his heart flutter. Don't keep thinking about it. Chen Xing gulped. You might not be able to hold it at night. The hardest part of dual cultivation wasn't abstinence, it was that they were both at the prime of their life, so even if they could restrain themselves in the day, it was easy to lose control at night while sleeping. Once they lost control, the past half a month would have been for nothing, and they would need to delay it to the next 1st or 15th day of the month and extend the duration required. But Xiangshu didn't want to sleep separately from Chen Xing either, and of course, Chen Xing himself didn't want that. Just got back from Xi'an's, Xiangshu changed the subject. Oh. Chen Xing was surprised. What did you guys talk about? The New Year's coming soon, Xiangshu said. Do you remember what happened the last time it was close to the New Year? That was last year. Chen Xing pondered a little, then said, wait, I think I calculated wrongly. Xiangshu answered, you didn't. I did. Chen Xing began to recall and started counting with his fingers. Xiangshu said, you don't need to go through so much trouble, just remember how old you are. According to the first calculation, you're already 21, after the New Year you'll be 22. Chen Xing glanced at Xiangshu in doubt, saying, no, I'm 22, I'll be 23 after the New Year. How could that be? Xiangshu frowned. Wait. Chen Xing said, count from the beginning so that it's clearer. Although Chen Xing didn't know why Xiangshu cared about this, he wanted to clear it up as well. In the first cycle, after my 16th birthday, I finished up Shifu's funeral before descending the mountain. Chen Xing said, in the first year, I went to Xiangyang and met you. When I was 17, I was in Qi Li Chuan. Wu, your 18th birthday was on the Autumn Deity Festival, we spent it in Jiankang. Xiangshu frowned as he pondered, then continued, when it was spring, we went to Luoyang, then many things happened. After the Dragon Boat Festival, you slept for 3 months, and for your 19th birthday you were in Shaoyang, and Fu Jian fought his way over that day. Chen Xing said, in the second cycle, I still met you in Xiangyang. On my 17th birthday, I was still in Qi Li Chuan. That's right. So Xiangshu said, for your 18th birthday, we were sleeping, so that is to say, the year that was stolen has been returned. Chen Xing answered, yep, so you calculated it wrong. At sea, in Yuan Kun's dream, we returned that year. For the past few days, and the day that we spent at the Autumn Deity Festival, they correspond to the night we spent at Shaoyang in the last cycle. Xiangshu remembered it now too. On their way here, the year he fell asleep caused him a lot of confusion, which made him miss out on an entire year in his calculations. Yes, Xiangshu said in doubt. So, the so-called fate that should have amended itself still has some deviation, because Fu Jian should have dispatched his army to the south before the New Year. Chen Xing uttered an N. Chongming also said that if we kept changing too many variables, we would make fate deviate from its original path. This should be the confrontation between the two types of forces, right. End chapter.